In a very recent episode, I shared, well, I have a struggle with that, shared how to sell more corporate wellness. And this podcast is really a spin-off on that. So if you're just not mind wrapped around corporate wellness, don't go away, because I think this is still something that may get your creative juices flowing about what else are you not thinking about. So just stay tuned to this one, no matter where you are in your head. That something that may make this episode targeted at gyms and studios, and the importance of this, I think right now, post-pandemic, more than ever. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Shameen's Fitness Business, which is a division of my business, Voice for Fitness. And our entire team at Voice for Fitness knows you want to be an inspirational example to other midlife women. And the only way to do that is to build a profitable health and wellness business. And the problem usually is lack of clients, or it's a lack of charging enough for the clients and making the most of the time that you are putting in. Nobody should become broken in effort trying to fix what's broken in our world, right? So I know how this feels when you've got the education, you've got the heart, you want to help, but you don't know how to get those clients in the door, because I started over at 49, well-educated, well-experienced, and still had this fear of, how do I drive traffic? How do I bring people back in? But look, if I went from literally zero to six-figure months, you too can do this. It's why I train and coach trainers and health coaches now all over the world, and have for 25 years. I do 3 steps with them. We get more clients. We make sure that those clients are profitable for you, and that we keep your freedom of time. Nobody wants to be painted and backed into a corner, so you've got to work 24/7 in order to make the kind of money that you want, because what we want is freedom and a lifestyle. So you can book a call with me to see if we are a one-on-one fit. But first, I want you to download the Health and Wellness Fitness Coaches Business Scorecard. See for yourself, do a self-assessment, and you can stop feeling like you're spinning your wheels or your dreams are slipping away while you watch other quote-unquote influencers who you think but don't even know are monetizing. And you could start earning $5,000 more every single month, at least that within your first 90 days, if not more. Let's dive in. All right. I've witnessed for decades in fitness centers and studios as personal training became a full-time position, and sometimes more, right? So it became a full-time position, but then it's actually more hours. Trainers starting early, ending late. They're tired or they're hungry, and often begin taking less and less care of themselves. They're no longer exercising regularly. They're sleep deprived. They begin to feel a little angry about the situation that they're in. And what can often happen is feelings of resentment and blame is laid on their employer for quote unquote taking advantage of them. And if you're a trainer attempting to make a full-time living, paying your bills, saving money, enjoying life on a personal trainer's salary, you too may know this feeling. All trainer compensation is not the same. You can work smart with groups, find other ways to increase your revenue without increasing your time. But until you get there, a lot of times I think you feel backed into a corner, like you've got to take on the hours, you've got to be given the hours, because you don't know anything yet. And when you feel like your back is against the wall and you're not making money, you're stressed, it's not a great time to be creative on what you can do. I understand that. To get that bandwidth where you can express some creativity and really think about how could you problem solve? How could you do things differently? You have to have a little safety. And this is why when clients come to me, trainers, health coaches, and they want to build a business, they want to have this program, this course that they've built, gain them money and earn them money passively, they don't realize that they're going to starve if they go there first. Generally, you need to be making proof, your program, your method works, and you want to get people in the door and do, 3 to 5 private clients at a time so that you can get a higher ticket item, relax in the bandwidth by doing the method that you know is proven to work. And so it's not hard work. You're just having that, okay, I have some influx of revenue. I can relax now and I can build my program so that eventually I can have more passive income and revenue. That takes a minute. So I understand if you're stuck in that idea that this is where you could be someday, you may not be able just to leap there because your mind is going to stop you from doing that. I want to talk to you about employee wellness for fitness centers. And it seems so very ironic, like this is stupid. Right? Like they're right here. They have equipment, machines, and they get used to it every single day, but it's really not the way it works. If you spend a lot of time in that space, it's really the last place that you want to be. As a trainer, a fitness instructor, when I was teaching fitness classes part time, was in and out of a building maybe 3 times, then staying to do a little bit more workout or going in on a day I wasn't teaching to work out, perfectly fine. But when I was the personal training director and I was in and out of the buildings all the time, as the last thing I wanted to do is be there to do my exercise. And that's the way it is. The more hours you're working in a business, you don't necessarily, that's not where you want to go to spend your downtime because people recognize you. Your fellow colleagues want to ask you questions, or your clients do, and they're watching what you're doing. And it's not relaxing. So, what I want you to think about if you're an employee or you're thinking about this in a big overview is this is just a way to in a meta way, problem solve. Okay. So, if employees like trainers or health coaches or front desk staff for that matter are not happy about work conditions, they tell customers what's happening from their one-sided perspective, generally throwing the owner or the business under the bus, share information about possibly leaving with, again, said customers, and they discuss their personal lives with clients. And this is all not good. I think we can agree, right? When you create happy employees that enjoy each other's company, they stay. They like going to work. They don't mind meetings because it's fun, friendly, humorous. They're loyal. They speak of the business this way too, as if they're loyal. Trainers and coaches work independently a significant amount of time. You need to take that into consideration. They may be surrounded by people. The reality is they are surrounded by people and they are potentially lonely. You can make a difference for them. If you don't, trainers are probably oversharing with their clients, blurring boundaries between professionalism and personal friendship. Potentially, they're also sharing the inner workings of business practices that they don't agree with, and that's not going to go well for a business. No matter what side of the wellness triangle you're on, if you are a gym or studio owner, or you're a trainer or coach who works in a gym setting, realize that your fitness and your wellness professionals need a wellness program too, sometimes more than others. The joke always used to be when I was going through yoga training, when I was going through Pilates training, both, that the quickest way to do less yoga or the quickest way to do less Pilates yourself was to become a Pilates instructor, because what you're doing is talking other people through it. You are no longer actually doing it, right? A teacher is generally, a really good yoga teacher is not leading by doing. They are stepping out of it, and they are, depending on potentially those people in the front row, that's who the people in the back row are watching, And they are speaking through it using their instruction and using just good verbiage to describe how things feel, to take people there. And they're doing it that way because then they're not distracted by their own feelings. They're not flowing through their own needs. And that is so very important. I mean, the fitness industry really could mature a lot if we were, from our group fitness rooms taking notes about how good Pilates and yoga instructors teach. They teach, they're not doing, they're not demonstrating, or one demonstration is it. And then you're allowing them to do while you teach. So I want you to think about this. This is a really short episode, but this meta idea of we sometimes assume somebody that works in healthcare, that works in fitness or in a fitness environment is taking advantage of the perk that is quote unquote the access to the fitness center that they have. That is really a myth and so untrue. And you've got to take into account what is it really like to be them? And how could you problem solve to make this so much better? Employee wellness centers, right? Or employee wellness centers within a center could be extremely important right now that it is just a quitter's economy. If a trainer doesn't like it, it's one place they can quit and they can go, and it takes one email to start a business. That's it. They go out on their own. They can take people with them. So creating customer loyalty, and this, if you're listening and you are a trainer or health coach who's good at this, in this whole idea of organizing programs that could create a healthier environment for all the employees to be in and work in, from the front desk to the nursery workers to those people who are leasing in your building, to the trainers, to the health coaches, to the nutritionists. They could all be much healthier and potentially have more loyalty and more team camaraderie with a right wellness kind of a program. And I'm going to highly suggest that you go listen to How to Make More Corporate Sales, because within that episode, there are more ideas for you on how to expand your thinking about what it is you do and how to really be a leader and, do this on a meta level. You want to realize that potentially somebody like an owner may not want to hire one of their own trainers or health coaches to implement an employee wellness program, because that individual then is kind of singled out as a leader. And maybe that puts them actually at a disadvantage. And, for the owner, this is not necessarily a plus, right? They want to keep the whole team intact. And so rather than elevate somebody from within, it might be having someone come from outside to lead the entire team. And maybe that outsider is you. So if you were going to pitch a corporate wellness program to a business like IBM or the electric company or a hospital, you could do the same for any fitness center, large fitness center with employees. Take a look around. There may be some amount of camaraderie, but there's a lot of isolation in trainers working with their individual clients, but not necessarily really interacting with each other. And a lot of times there's a little competition, and there's a little fear that maybe another trainer's watching what I'm doing and they don't think I'm doing it right. Everybody's got a little imposter syndrome. So how can you, release that and decrease it and create more camaraderie and team and loyalty so people stay? Because it costs money. When you lose trainers, you have clients who are kind of jostled here and there and get they've lost a relationship that they have. And it's a real thing to reassign clients to new trainers because it's not their old one. There's nothing wrong with them necessarily, but it's not the one they had. It's not the one they liked. It's not the one they were comfortable with. So reducing that is one advantage to an owner of having a wellness program, even within a fitness center. Think on that. Let me know your thoughts. And this episode, the show notes will be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/employee wellness for fitness centers. And I hope that you will pass it on. And if you've got a colleague who you think, oh my gosh, they're a studio owner or they're working in a gym, I should let them listen to it, have their boss listen to it. It may be what saves someone. So I'm going to link to the other podcast. We just released that. So if you're listening on iTunes or whatever platform you listen to your podcast on, you will also be able to probably scroll right back and see that one as well. And what are you waiting for? The world needs us right now more than ever.